happening to you right now? You're going to miss it, aren't you? He missed it. He missed it. Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? We had some headset complications here. You know what it is, baby. It's the All Day Everyday Show. With All Day AJ. A little two-camera action.
Different camera angles.
And the homie Manny Ruffin. Oh, my God. Different camera angles today. Lights are still the same. Mics are still the same. But you know that. As always, powered by Dimers. Guys, now one week left. You saw that on the reaction show already. 1 week left. You probably will have about a day left when this gets posted. Twin Spires. For the first 6 weeks of the NFL season, you get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. Okay, head over to www.dimers.com/ADED to get yourself on Twin Spires for this up and down NFL betting season so far. We have some other books on there, but we'll get into those a little bit later. I do want to say before we get going, by the time you see this, the NHL season will be underway. My Rangers will have taken on the Capitals, and Manny's Flyers will have taken on the Vancouver Canucks on their first two season openers. I know the Rangers open in Washington, and the Flyers open at home for their not only season opener, but their home opener. But that's not what we're talking about today. Should have got to that, but that's not what we're talking about today. What do we got? We got a lot, dude. We got a lot.
Let's unpack.
A little spicy, okay?
Let's unpack this bag, and we got a little bit of shit to unpack first with Jonathan Gruden. Some sneaky emails going on there. Then I'm gonna have to touch on the Monday Night Football game a little bit because Lamar Jackson was just out there doing what Lamar does. Carson Wentz was doing a little bit.
I needed you to say that.
And then we're gonna touch on the Red Sox and their run. Can they pull the World Series off? Is this 2013? Is this 2018? What's this Red Sox team got for us the rest of October? I don't know. And then we're gonna get into the Bama loss a week after me and Alex said there's no chance they lose and Georgia's gonna be the team to lose. And then Bama drops to Texas A&M. So we have a really nice show for you guys set up today, and I'm excited to get into it. Let's get it, man.
All right. Yeah, we were wrong about Bama. We'll leave it at that, though. But all right, let's get going. So, Monday Night Football. Carson Wentz, over 400 yards passing. Lamar Jackson, over 400 yards passing.
Yes, sir.
Lamar Jackson, it leads his Baltimore Ravens to a 19-point comeback victory in overtime, that 5-yard pass to Hollywood Brown to end the game. But this game was so jam-packed. One of the key moments, I think, was the fumble at the 1-yard line. Yep. Lamar, it was still ruled a fumble, but that forward pass stopped it. And that could have been 6 more right there that would have pretty much held them out of this game. Lamar Jackson was asked at the end of the game, did you ever have a doubt that you were going to lose? And in overtime. And he said no. Granted, they did get the ball. But I think there was a moment, if you guys could see the clips of him when the ref is out there saying that it was still a fumble, but it was that forward pass. You could see he was just like hands on his head, like playing with his hair, like, and the guy with the water boy comes around with the Gatorade, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. He was a little flustered from that. You got to give a lot of credit to Jonathan Taylor in that opening series. This was the first time all year that the Colts have scored more than 3 points in the first quarter, and you get pressed on a 3rd and 8, and you're pressed in your own side of the field. 76 yards later on a 6-yard, literally behind the line. Dumping run here for Jonathan Taylor. And guess who had Jonathan Taylor as an anytime touchdown scorer? Manny Ruffin did. So Carson Wentz, I do want to say this. The fact that we knew this, right? We knew this when he was going to Indianapolis. His boy Frankie was there. They showed that on the screen last night, what his numbers were when he and as they should. But they showed what his numbers were in 2017. And one of the things that Steve Levy was saying on the broadcast was, can Carson Wentz get back to that 2017 form like he was already with the Eagles? And they showed his record with the Eagles that year. They showed all of his stats. He was like 34-8 in touchdowns to interceptions. And then that all fell off. And one of the quotes that Frank said that they read on that broadcast was, we're going to help him build his confidence. He wants to get better. He's been broken down over these past couple years. He needs to get built back up, and he's going to do that here in Indianapolis. And he showed last night no interceptions. I really almost pulled the trigger on a -150 Wentz over half of an interception, so just to get one. Thank God I stayed away, but I thought that was a good bet.
That would have been a brutal beat because there was a pick on the 2-point conversion. You need to not be on that. That's insane. But this game was something
saucy
else. We start off with Jonathan Taylor taking to the crib, 70 yards. I'm sitting there like, this is the lead out of any start that this game would have. if you told me it would be a Jonathan Taylor 70-yard receiving touchdown, I would tell you you're out of your mind.
Right.
Coach should start pouring on. That defense was like it's back. We were questioning that defense the last couple of weeks, and I was like, I don't know what we have here.
Played well.
Darius Leonard was motivated to get that game going. Even Xavier Rhodes was playing some good ball. Marquise Brown was quiet until Xavier Rhodes hit the hammer on Mark Andrews and got the karma and ended up taking himself out the game. Mark Andrews ate it. He had an amazing game as well.
Yeah, I
think he had 11 catches, like 114 and 2 tuds.
2 touchdowns, yeah.
Jesus Christ. This was a classic, but Lamar Jackson, this just shows maturity. I used to go to bat with people 3 years ago. People were trying to tell me I don't know if Lamar Jackson can be a quarterback in the NFL. I don't even know if he can really throw. And I used to lose my mind arguing with these people. Tonight, I mean, the MVP season should have ended the arguments anyway. But tonight, because the whole knock was, well, he can't lead a comeback. He can't do this. He can't do that. 19-point comeback, Monday Night Football, easy. After I was struggling to start the game, you've seen him. He missed a touchdown to Hollywood Brown on the sideline. And this is when I knew, because I did live bet the Ravens to win. And this is when I knew the Ravens were going to win, because you can tell when a quarterback deals with adversity. Lamar Jackson isn't afraid to show you he's pissing himself. And I like that. He's a competitor. You can say on the sideline, he's sitting there with his quarterback coach. The quarterback coach literally has the surface out. Lamar Jackson's paying him no mind. He's just sitting there pissed. And coach doesn't care. He's like, well, listen, I don't have to coach him up. He knows. I can tell him. I can show him the coverage if I want to, but it's Lamar fucking Jackson.
He knows. He knows. Well, tell the other bet that you had, too, on the Colts. And you said in the reaction show, which you guys, if you haven't seen it already, head over to the YouTube or Apple Podcast, drop a like over there. You know what to do.
Drop a couple little winners over there.
What did you say? You said Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown. Yep. You said, and this is what I loved about it the most. You said Colts, I'm going to take the Colts spread if it goes to 7.5. And it was started at 7. And he said, it's going to be, go ahead, keep him up there. He said, I feel like this game could be a 27-20 and it'll be a push. It could be a 24-17. It would be a push. Once they hit 7.5, about a couple hours before game time, we hammered that.
Who sent the ticket in the chat? I did.
And then he took it. So there's 2 big wins there.
There we go.
How about the fact that Lamar Jackson is obviously leading the team in passing, but how about rushing too? Yes, I get it. J.K. Dobbins is not there as well. But 62 rushing yards, 442 passing yards, 504 total yards on the day. I
think he's 5th in passing right now and 8th in rushing. Now, we did say Herbie was our MVP, but right now it's got to be Lamar Jackson.
And
right?
after this game, and here's another stat for you. After last night when they did a tally for his yards, he has over 1,800 total passing yards and rushing yards combined this season. That's more than, get this, 18 NFL teams. More than 18 NFL teams for this guy to have rushing and passing alone. He's playing 2 positions this year. So, as we close this one out, 2019 Lamar Jackson in his MVP season. Why don't we give 2019, when we gave 2019 Lamar respect, why don't we give that same respect to 2021 Lamar Jackson? Yep. I've been seeing a lot of hate. I think I was sleeping on him a little bit so far this season.
Because you know what happens with people, bro. When players start having success that they already doubted, then it's like, all right, well, what can you do in the playoffs? And then you lose a couple of playoff games that get a couple of tough bounces. Maybe a couple of those weren't your fault. You weren't fully developed as a quarterback yet. Then people are trying to write you off now because, well, he can't win the playoffs and he can't lead comebacks. And you start seeing Lamar Jackson, he's just growing and growing and growing. He hears all the hate. He's just growing and growing and growing and coming. Kid's a beast. He's going to do it for a long time. He'll bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, he will. And a great win for Baltimore. Another come from behind win. And this team moves to 4-1. So can't wait to see what they do next week. And you'll hear all about that in NFL Week Reactions, week numero 6.
I think I know where we're going next. And I just want to say something that was really ironic if we're going to Gruden. The fact that Gruden was the host of Monday Night Football, and then you hear him resign on Monday Night Football. You hear the news on Monday Night Football like it was Osama bin Laden when he got killed. That is just so ironic. Shefty, Booger, oh my God, I forget the girl's name, the last one. They're sitting there doing a roundtable at halftime talking about this man leaving his team after the news broke. We'll get into it. On the show he hosted not too long ago, those emails were being sent while he was the host of Monday Night Football.
On the show. And ESPN did have to, as we go over to Gruden and his resignation as, when I hear resignation, I just think about that SpongeBob episode when he's like,
I don't even know what to
I'm resigning.
Obviously, the politically correct way to say it is the resignation, but did he quit? Like, did he left? Did he, I don't, it's not for, it's just, he's literally like, I think what did they say? The league officials were starting to talk to the Raiders organization, and then he stepped in and was like, nah, done. Don't even worry about it. Don't talk to him. It can't get out. I was saying a lot of things, and it can't come out.
Well, one of those things was, he had mentioned after the fact, when he had to get when the press had to get some quotes on him resigning, and he talked about a little bit, just saying like, I don't want to be a distraction to this team anymore. And that's true. And I think that is the bigger move. He was going to get fired anyway. We knew that. But you look at this is not the same situation, but it's similar to the coach having struggles and kind of affecting the team. You look at what we talked about last week, Urban Meyer. I think we talked about it on the reaction show. So, I think I'm not trying to take this away from Gruden, but I think Urban Meyer could have been in that situation to say, you know what, this is too much on me. I'm going to get my way out. I'm going to step back.
I think
let you guys do it.
Where those situations differ, and like, I'm not saying what Urban Meyer did was right in any way, shape, or form, but like the league was literally making it a point. Like, we're getting all this hate shit out of our league. You see the people with the back of their helmets. Stop hate, all this stuff. And for him to be the face of that franchise, you're not only a leader of men, you're a figurehead of our league, a figurehead of a whole city. Can't have it. And he knows he just got the fuck out of there. I feel really bad for those fans. New stadium, Derek Carr's coming along. Obviously, we got Josh Jacobs, Ryan Edwards making plays. Our defense is coming along. We have Gruden locked into a 10-year contract. We think he's in year, what was he, year 3 or 4, I think it was. We have a plan here. And then this happens. They're looking good this year. A bad loss, but we know why they took that bad loss to the Bears on Sunday. Obviously, this sucks.
Yeah, and
the league is better when the Raiders are good. That's something we can all come to an agreement on. And I was low key rooting for the Raiders just to come back, just to be a competitive team again, because it's just fun. And this sucks, dude. Because I mean, I'm not saying they're done, but maybe for this year there might be a rough, rocky way to get back. But even, I mean, it's just so important to have a coach everyone believes in and buys into. You could tell that Derek Carr and John Gruden were just starting to get synergized. The offense was getting way more creative. They're doing a lot of things out there, and then he's gonna have to rebuild that relationship with a new coach, interim coach this year, and then next year with a new coach. Maybe we'll see. I think their special teams coordinator is going to be the coach, which is usually what teams do because the special teams coordinator deals with everybody. So they might be okay because it's like not like we don't have a relationship. Like, it's not like we're hiring the DB's coach to be the interim head coach, and like the quarterback doesn't have a relationship with them. Like, it's a special teams guy, so everyone talks to them. They might be okay, but it's just going to be tough for those players just to bounce back from that. It's tough, bro.
Well, you look at this deal back in 2018. Gruden signed 10-year, $10 million in 2018, and like you said, the team was just starting to build around him. The Derek Carr relationship was just starting to get together. And now we take a huge
because their relationship was a little rocky. They brought him. They brought in Mariota. Mariota played some games. He thought he looked good when Derek Carr got hurt, and this year he saw that. All right, now this is my guy. Nope, done for. It's crazy. I heard an interview when Derek Carr found out. He was like, "Yeah, it was one of those things. Like when you hear about what he said, you're just like, ugh."
Yeah, because there's emails, and the other thing too is like, I look at this and it's. Everybody, like at least our day and age, when we're in school, we learn about this, right? You post something on Twitter, you post something on social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the hell it may be, it's out there forever.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So when you're literally sending emails, this isn't even social media. This is an email.
But still,
I think that's worse.
I'm saying, no, it definitely is worse. I'm saying because it is in writing.
Right.
Like, we know guys and we've had coaches. I've definitely had coaches, especially in football and things like baseball too. Like, they play around with players. They'll crack jokes here and there, but it's on the field. It's in practice. Like, it's not. And I'm not saying they're not racial or anything crazy like that. I'm just saying they'll crack on a guy. They'll talk about his socks or maybe sunburnt or something. He'll bust them up. So I don't think that's something that like people are used to that with Gruden. But to do that and put it in writing is just so dumb, bro.
So it was just racist comments, anti-gay comments.
Come on.
And look at how it unfolded. So
he was giving Jeff Fisher heat for drafting Michael Sam. Yeah. That's bad, bro.
He pressed Roger Goodell for, and I don't want to say too much on it because, he pressed Roger Goodell for being quote unquote forced to draft gay players. So I want to say the timeline of this is how this unfolded for people that don't understand the timeline of how everything unfolded. The email comes out where he made a racist comment in an email referring to an executive, an NFL executive. And then comments all over sports, comments from analysts, comments from the teammates, the players, everybody in that Raiders organization were like, you know what? Even Mike Tirico, who worked as a announcer, play-by-play announcer on Monday Night Football with Gruden for 7 or 11 years, something like that, a very, very substantially long time, right? Mm-hmm. So this timeline, after everybody heard what the email said and they knew what he said, even Mike, who is a black man that works right beside him, even said, I never caught that. Essentially said, I never caught that vibe.
Right.
I never would have. Josh Jacobs, who's a running back on the Vegas Raiders, who literally Gruden coaches, said I would not have caught that from him. It was 10 years ago. This email was from 2011. It's 2021 now. You have time to grow. And all that sequence around it, the story behind it, the moral around that whole first email was everyone was like, I'm okay with that. I understand it was 10 years ago. But you can change in 10 years. That's okay. Everyone was literally fine with it.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. It was like when we talked about it down here. You told me when the news broke. I was like, Jesus, Gruden, but like you'll be fine. Like it was kind of like it was kind of like that. It was
and
like
I'm not saying like
bro.
everyone was literally fine. Me and that comment was okay.
But,
but
I'm
like, saying
he'll be okay.
Everyone was like, you know what? We can move on from this.
Exactly.
And then it goes from all of those same people, the analysts, the players, the teammates, the organization, everybody went from that one email saying, you know what, we can move past this to.
And we found out there's 7 years worth of emails.
7 years worth of anti-gay, racist, all these different comments. And it's like, okay, now these same guys,
the fuck out of here.
These same guys are saying your career is over. Stephen A. Smith today, your career is over. Marcus Spears said on First Take this morning, John Gruden lost his job for being who he really is.
Yep.
That's what it is. That's the simplest way to put it.
Think about his players. He coaches Carl Nassib, first openly gay player to be actively playing. Guys like Henry Ruggs, Josh Jacobs, big time players for him. Like thinking like, damn, like this is my coach. Like I thought he was really riding for me. This is really supposed to be my guy. How do you
feel? But like I want to know how like Nassib feels in that situation because there was the Instagram story. If you haven't seen that already, head over to ADED Pod on Instagram. You can see a story of a picture of the two hugging, and it's very ironic. And that was the quote that was posted. Very ironic. And the other thing too is, I would love to try to understand what Mike Tirico's feeling right now. Really.
I was going to say, because when you were bringing up the points that Tirico and Josh Jacobs made, I was going to tell you, like, because I heard what Josh Jacobs said, and honestly, the first thing that came to my mind when he said that, I was like, well, I mean, he's a young running back under contract. And
right. I understand that too.
Tirico, they have a relationship back from when Gruden was a guy on Monday Night Football. So you don't know, they might, like, what you got to understand about these big time people, and I love Mike Tirico, but Mike Tirico and John Gruden still might be cool after this. They might have a relationship past that in the booth or something. Like they might not be mortal enemies. He might think differently about John Gruden, but he might not openly bash him on a panel because he knows, all right, like that's still kind of my boy. Yeah, he's a little fucked up, but we're gonna talk about that over some cigars and I'll get him right. Like, you know what I mean? So some of the things these people are saying in public, I take it with a grain of salt because you don't, like you said, people said he never got a whiff of that from John Gruden. John Gruden's a well-respected dude. The only person I really heard about him having a big issue with was Keyshawn, and Keyshawn went on his show like, I was telling you guys all along, this motherfucker's crooked. And Keyshawn, you're right, because I wasn't really listening. I thought Keyshawn was the crazy one for a long time. Obviously, you know his story about him. He wants to train at home, not with the team and all that shit. So I was like, all right, Keyshawn, what can we really believe? But he was right the whole time, man. But it's just interesting to see how these relationships will change with the people that are involved with him. Gruden's been around for a long time, so you got to think people like Bill Belichick love him. People like Jason Garrett probably love him. Like, so it's interesting to see how these relationships.
It's funny how you bring up that Keyshawn Johnson point because his quote today was, quote, has always been a fraud to me, end quote. So it's just fitting how all of that kind of ties together. It's just it's a terrible look for football right now, and for Gruden. You can't even like say the question of what's next. And here, what I will say is I really hope and pray that you were smart with this money that you got from this contract. Yeah. Because you're not going to get another one.
Nope. No more the quarterback film room thing. None of that. No more money in football.
Like let's say even if he had any types of endorsements, which he probably didn't, maybe he had one or two, but nobody really sees that because now it's all Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady. But even if he did, those would already be stripped, right? So I don't even want to call this a cancel culture moment because I really don't think it is. I think it's just stupid. We're back in the old ways. We haven't grown. We haven't adapted. I don't classify this as cancel culture. Right. I saw some comments that it's like cancel culture at its finest. I think it's just you're being fired for being a moron publicly.
Yeah, people finding out who you really are.
Like.
People who are crooked like you are obviously gonna say like, all right, well, he's fine with me, and that's cool. Y'all can be like that over there in that corner. Y'all got it. But the people that understand, all right, he's kind of fucked up for this. This is wrong. We're not gonna really fuck with John Gruden like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's cancel culture. It's just people realizing, oh, he's like that. He's moving like that. I'm gonna go the fuck over here.
Yeah, I'll step away. It's as simple as that. But we had to touch on this. This is again I love finding these spicy topics.
What a
right?
segment, bro.
You know, we had some spicy topics that were gifted to us.
This
over
reminds
these
me of
past
good old
couple
Kwame,
months.
the Kwame Brown segment.
Kwame Brown, the Sha'Carri Richardson.
Oh man.
You know, we had a couple headlines that really had stood out to us in terms of not having to talk directly about what Tom Brady and LeBron James are doing, just like everybody else is. You know what I mean? So, are we going to Red Sox? We're going to Red Sox now.
Let's talk about these Red Sox.
All right.
Is it a Red October?
It might be. And
I can't call it a Red October yet. It's not. I can't call it.
Start this Red Sox segment off with the fact that these guys shit the bed at the end of the year. Yankees fan, by the way. I am wearing my Rangers hat today in I guess hopes of.
I hate to do this. I hate to do this before we get into the Red Sox, but boon in or boon out.
So I saw a report that said the Yankees are leaning towards keeping Boone. I'm not going to put on a number or a person that I want right now.
Oh boy. Oh no, he's Boone out. He's Boone out.
But I would say I'd let him go. Oh,
baby.
And I've been a Boone guy for so long. Like throughout this entire season where everyone bashed, I'm going to spend like 20 seconds, 20 more seconds, 20 more seconds. And throughout the entire season, everyone's like, nah, Boone's out. Like, I don't like how he made this substitution. I don't like how he pulled this pitcher, put this, whatever. We got to get him. I'm like, no. Let's let him ride. He's been here through the beginning. But when you look at after Girardi left, what have you been able to do in that time?
Okay,
nothing. So.
But here's devil's advocate. If the Green Monster isn't the thing,
he has 3 home runs. Stanton has 3 home runs.
You guys are playing right now.
Well, you never know because I was saying that the Rays were going to kick their ass.
Maybe. But all right, to the Red Sox.
Okay, so to the Red Sox.
Holy shit.
So they and we talked about this in I think it was last week's podcast or the week before. We spoke on the Red Sox and how they are like the Raiders in the way that they tank towards the end of the year, and they did just that. The Yankees won 5 in a row. Headed to the wild card game. They swept them in Fenway for the first time since 2015. And you looked at this wild card game saying, you know what? Everybody's on the Yankees. And I wasn't even saying that as a fan. I was like, there's no way you can't take the Yankees. I'm a fan, but
on the Red Sox.
You know, there's no way that I'm taking the Red Sox in this game. But again, Nathan Eovaldi is the Yankees killer. He did just that in the wild card game. We had a little what are those things called that you do on Twitter? The talking things? Spaces. Oh yeah, I just wanted to feed that up there for us. After we can clip this out right now at 22 minutes in.
You will be seeing us on the Spaces.
Spaces. If you guys are listening or watching to this point, Twitter Spaces. It's basically just an audio version of what we're doing right now, except we can have you guys join and chat with us and give us your
just
thoughts.
For a warning, I might be a couple sodas deep, depending on who's playing and if my team's losing.
Yes. So it's just you guys have a chance to come in. All you do is you hit request to join, and you can do it from there. But back to the Red Sox. We did, personally, I thought, you know what? If they get past this game, Rays are going to win it anyway. Rays showed how dominant they were to end the season. And on the other side of the spectrum, the Red Sox showed how chokeworthy they were at the end of the season. So it was kind of a other complete seesaw of opposite and opposite.
And that's where we defer. Yes, I did back the Red Sox in the wild card game. That was more so like Eovaldi's pitching against the Yankees. The Red Sox are at home. That was just I saw value. But I even took the Red Sox to win the series versus the Rays. And this is where I'm thinking like the Red Sox are a team, that lineup is deep. I mean, you got Rafi Devers, Kiki Hernandez had the best series of his life, maybe one of the best series of all time. Kyle Schwarber's in there. Dalbach's playing good ball. I mean, JD Martinez, when his ankle's up and down right now, but he's in there swinging. I think he hit a home run the other night, if I'm not mistaken.
They need to find some help. They need to find something and get something dug out of Chris Sale right now. Because
that's very true.
He had a lot of talk that he's going to be so good. He's back. He's big.
And he had a shaky start. Shaky start. The reason why I think the Red Sox do have a chance, though, because when I was touching on that lineup, just teams like when they get in the dance and they have a full lineup of just hitters and savages in the box, I'll say. The Red Sox fans might hate me for saying that. But all they need is a chance in the dance. They could be down 4 runs. We've seen it. Come back and win. They just need one chance. If Eovaldi pitches well, Rodriguez pitches well, that lineup stays hot, they have a shot. I mean, listen, Houston's coming to town. Red Sox look dead in the water right now. They're down 5-1 right now. They look dead in the water. It looks like the series is over. So we'll see Astros versus Red Sox. That'll be a really interesting series. The Red Sox should lose it, but it's just one of those things like they can hit with the Astros. Lineup-wise, they're even. I'll put the pitching edge to Houston. Bullpen edge, definitely Houston. So we'll see how that goes, but I don't know. They have a chance. It has a chance. I'm getting I told you before we recorded, I'm getting a real big 2013 feel from the Red Sox because, like I said, 2012, they finished last in the division. 2013, they get in the playoffs, win the World Series. Last year, finished last in the division. We even set our own show to predict it. Started the MLB season. We said the Red Sox, why are we even covering them? They're going to be ass 500 team. We're good. Get in the dance. looks like it'd be a 2013-ish.
Well, that's why I think it's crazy because these guys come out and, again, we said that they choked at the end of the year. And then now they come out in these, in the wild card game and these first few games of these, of I guess, the postseason, because I told you, I said the wild card doesn't count. And they look like they're the best team in baseball right now.
Facts.
So where is that switch? And then in a quote from Kike Hernandez last night after the win, his quote was, "I mean, here we are surprising everybody but ourselves," end quote.
That's been a big theme. If you've been listening to the interviews, Alex Cora's been saying that a lot. I remember they won the wild card game. He goes, "Yeah, I mean, everyone thought we were going to lose. We're not supposed to be here, right?" Or something like that, just joking around with them. And that's another team where you don't want them feeling like underdogs because it feels like that's when they start getting hot. It's when people are like really start writing them off and they're not supposed to be there. They flip that switch, man. And I'm not gonna say it's gonna be every October, but it's looking like it's gonna be one.
So it's gonna you got to just take into consideration here how important home field is in the MLB playoffs because you looked at those two games at Fenway.
Can we just pay homage to Fenway in October at a game? Can we just pay homage? That's got to be top 5 venues to be in for a certain setting, like a Rose Bowl big college football game. Yes, like you know what I'm saying. Eventually, SoFi big football game. Yes, can we put Fenway up there like a Fenway playoff game? Top venues to be in ever, like that place, bro. When Xander hit that home run in the wild card game.
Yeah,
I literally just like that. You know when you're watching, like it happens with soccer because those places go crazy. But when someone scores, someone hits a home run, you see the screen start shaking. That's when you fucking know. And every time someone hits a bomb, you see that little shake with Fenway, bro. That place is special, bro. We low-key got to get in there for some content.
Yeah, no, and there's crammed seats that you're literally like an inch next to each other because it's so goddamn old.
But they got a shot, bro. I honestly think they have a really good chance. Because to be honest, from what I'm seeing out of the NL as well, I mean the Dodgers might go down to the Giants. Giants are a really good team, but I just don't think they could. If it came down to Astros Giants or Red Sox Giants, I'm going with the AL right there. Honestly, the Brewers, they're not looking too hot. Pitching looks good. Same with the Braves. Pitching looks good, but I mean, without Jock Peterson hitting 2 jacks, they're losing this series as well. They're not doing much offensively, so I would say if they can get past the Astros, they have a really good shot, man.
Well,
it's one of those years.
I just want to touch on the Rays for a second. It's got to be so sad.
Facts.
For the Tampa Bay Rays. They have a great turnout because the whole moral with the Rays is nobody goes to those games. Even at the peak of how good they have been these past 2 to 3 seasons, nobody goes. So you get a packed house, you get yellow towels to accent that yellow in the Rays uniform with the yellow cleats. Looks like a great showing from them as the 1 seed. And then they blow it up. And after losing in the World Series last year, they blow it up.
How about you see McClanahan after he got rocked for 5 earned runs? He's throwing chairs and shit.
Yeah, well, because it's over. It's over. And how are you going to get those fans back? I think it's a little bit different.
They're spoiled in Tampa Bay, bro. They got the Rays, the Bucks,
that's exactly
the
what I'm
Lightning.
saying. You have the Yankees where it's like when we're going to keep going back. Yankees fans are going to keep going back, and that's what everyone's going to go do.
Right.
That. Phillies fans will do the same thing because it's not like you have other teams like the GOAT that. In Tampa Bay, and you have the reigning Stanley Cup champions back-to-back Tampa Bay Lightning looking for their 3rd straight as they play tonight against the at Banner Night against the Pittsburgh Penguins on ESPN. Hockey's back on ESPN.
That's
sorry,
crazy.
But they have so much as the fan base of Tampa Bay to look forward to and look over.
Right.
Talking about looking over the Rays, they're sitting there like, how are we going to get these fans back next year?
The thing about them is like they'll be box office for a long time down there just for the sole fact that team is so young, bro. The problem with them when they won I'm not gonna say the problem with them. When they won the World Series, they had a really good mix of vets and they had the young guys coming up. And now that it's like the young guys coming up, it's their team. That's gonna be the team for a while, bro. Wander Franco, Rosarena, McClanahan, all those guys. They're gonna be around.
Wander Franco was having like 2 hits a game. Like
kept it going in the postseason.
I was ready to say I was ready to bet on those last 2 games. Franco 2 hits. Bro. I'm looking at the box scores, and I'm like, I see you hit another one. I'm like, wait a minute, was that his first or second? I go to the box score. That's 2. And then I'm like, game 2, same thing. I'm like, oh my God, I have to do it this game.
Easy.
Game 3, why not? So it's sad for the Rays, but you gotta, as you look at these Red Sox, they knocked off the number 1 seed, and they have a damn good chance because I don't see any strength coming from this National League right now. Yes, the Giants.
If the Dodgers can come back, but they even look kind of shaky.
Both of them do. There's no dominance versus and then you look at the Astros in this series, and they've been pretty dominant. Obviously, they already lost 1, but pretty dominant in this series. So I don't know. Like you said, to your point of looking past this CS, and if the Red Sox can get through the Astros, they'll have a great chance to win this whole thing.
They'll love where they're sitting at.
Which is very frustrating as a Yankees fan to know that
it would
2018
be cool.
could happen again.
It would be cool as hell though to get a Red Sox Dodgers kind of rematch there. Mookie's on the Dodgers now. That is
cool. Very true. I wasn't even thinking about that. Thinking about that. So definitely look for a spicy World Series. We're gonna be monitoring this over the next couple weeks on what's gonna happen.
Oh my God, that happens too. You got Kike Hernandez, and the Dodgers gave him away. Told me he wasn't an everyday player. Has the best series of his life to prove he's an everyday player in this league. That'd be a dope series, bro. If that happens.
Yep. So we'll keep an eye on this ALCS and what's going to happen for this NLCS as well in this amazing jam-packed MLB playoff picture. Okay, before we get into our last segment
Gotta
of the
address
day,
the elephant in the room.
we have to address Alabama and their loss. And if you did bet on them, I saw a bet that had it was like a 500,000.
Right.
You saw that?
Yeah. I mean, I bet on them, so
it was a parlay with all minus 1,000.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh my! You put 500K on it
to win 108,000, and Bama loses. So if you don't want to do that, we have Bet Rivers for the month of October. They head over to www.dimers.com/8080 and click the link to Bet Rivers. It will take you right over to Bet Rivers. You will get a deposit match up to $250. What that means, if you put in $250, you will get $250 extra dollars. You will have $500 in your account. If you want to put $20 in, if you want to put $100 in, you will have a complete direct match of whatever you put in. So think about it. If you want to put in $25, you'll have $50 in your account. So whatever you want to do,
play around a little bit.
Play around, but always play responsibly. Bet Rivers for the month of October. Dimers.com/8080. Okay, talk to me about Bama. We were wrong.
We were so wrong, bro. But I'm going to be honest though. I did say on that show, I was like, listen, this is not the strongest Bama team we've seen. But I don't think there were. I just didn't think the field was close to them. We were wrong. I mean, as you've seen, God, Calzada from A&M was just dicing them up. You could tell ain't no Patrick Surtain, ain't no Trayvon Diggs in that secondary no more.
Not anymore.
Not no more. He was tearing them boys up. I bet Bama live. Because going into halftime, I feel bad for the girls that got to interview Saban at halftime when they're losing, first of all, to say that. But I'm just watching the interview. He's like 8 feet away from her. She's asking him a question. She's like, so why do you think you're down a half or some question? Like, he don't ask that. But
right.
He says yeah, well, you know why. I mean, it's obvious that why we're losing. He goes into like a 2-minute rant. He's like, yeah, we got penalties. We can't block, can't tackle, da. I'm like, he's pissed. He's about to get in their ass. I'm live betting Bama. We're locked in. I'm live betting them. They come out, Bama scores. I'm like, we're live, baby. We're good. Kickoff comes, A&M crib. They had answers for everything. And the thing about A&M is, you remember we talked about the A&M in the episode we did the OU Texas thing?
Yeah.
I was saying, listen, Texas A&M's a good team. They lose their starting quarterback obviously early in the season, but I mean they're starting. There's a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing on that team. A backup quarterback. For them to do that versus Bama, to continually make plays is crazy. Because all I'm telling myself when I live bet Bama, I was like, all right, A&M is just gonna have to make one play.
Yep.
Score a touchdown, they make one play. They made like 3-4 in that half. Calzada rolls his ankle bad, throws a dot. Like, they have some players over there. God, oh my God. The 12th man was rocking. 107,000 people up in there. Hey, man. I'll just say this. Bama's not dead in the water, which is good for them.
No, they're not dead. They're not dead.
The field is wide open. They got some players. Bryce Young looks really good. Brian Robinson looks really good at running back. I feel bad for players like him. I think he's a 5th-year senior. He played behind dogs his whole career. Finally gets his shine now. Bama will be okay. They'll be back. That's always. And the one thing I read that was interesting too. Bama's only had under Saban, they've only had 2 seasons where they went undefeated and won the national championship. Doesn't feel that way, but only 2009 and I think 2020 was when they went undefeated and won the national championship. So Bama's cool, but that was just a hell of a ball game.
Well, and we talked about Alabama and Georgia last week, and we were not bashing Georgia, but just talking about
sleeping on them.
Realistic circumstances for this team moving forward. And Georgia is now number 1, and Bama is now number 5.
I don't think that's going to hold. There's a lot of things that aren't going to hold right now. Obviously, Iowa gets a big win over PSU. Don't like.
Can
that
we
at
talk
all.
about Kentucky being a 11 seed
Holy
as they're just balling out this year? So
they got to. I mean, we'll see if that holds. They got a good team over there, though. We'll see if that holds. They still got a gauntlet of an SEC schedule to go through. That's the thing about SEC teams that start off to a hot start. It's like, listen, you still got tough games coming up. So, I mean, college football is a little spicy right now, bro.
Yeah, because you look at the next,
right
and
now.
we talked a little bit about this in that
Three Big Ten
episode
teams
last week.
3 Big Ten teams in that top 10 there.
And that's right. And Alabama's next couple games, they're in Mississippi State, home against Tennessee.
Feel bad for those kids too.
Home against LSU.
I feel bad for them as well.
Home against New Mexico State.
Oh my God.
Home against Arkansas, and then in Auburn to end their season.
Ooh, that's gonna be a slaughter.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't know that their schedule ran like that. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 home games in a row after back-to-back.
I mean, if you think about it,
games.
they were at the Swamp. They were at Kyle Field. I mean, I think they played. Now their only home game. I forget.
Yeah,
they played one out-of-market team or FCS team to start the season.
Yeah.
That
So
was their
they
only home
played.
game.
They were home against Miami.
Neutral field game they had.
Yep, neutral field. That's right. But I mean, we know what Alabama's going to do. If anything, this only fuels them more. I don't want to say we're necessarily still wrong about them because...
But it does show you that, listen, teams...
It's open. The door's open.
I was going to say, that top 4 is not going to be... Like, Oklahoma might be in the top 4 this year. They don't know who their quarterback is. Caleb Williams came in that thing and started throwing that ball around like crazy. Spencer Rattler came in for the 2-point, made a good play too, though. But they don't know what's going on at quarterback.
He's a little pissed off, dude.
He is a little pissed. I mean, he's sitting there like, well, I was the Heisman favorite coming to this year. I'm getting booed off the field.
Booed off the field.
Is my career over?
Do I go back to playing basketball?
Like, what do I do? What do I do? He'll be fine though. But I mean, there's vulnerable teams in that top 4, bro. Vulnerable teams. I was not the number 2 team in the nation. Okay, they were getting dominated until Sean Clifford got hurt. Good for you guys over there in the Iowa, the Hawkeyes fans, storming the field when you're a rank higher than the team you just beat. Questionable, but good for you guys. Okay, have your nice shine. Number 2 in the nation right now. Eat it up. Do all that. You got a tough Big Ten schedule coming around, and we know who's going to come out this thing on top. It's going to be the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, and I mean that's also crazy because you did mention there's 4 teams that are in that from the Big Ten that are in there.
It's 4. I thought it was. Michigan's up in there, huh?
So it's Penn. So Ohio State 6.
Yep.
Penn State 7. Michigan
9.
8.
Oh, there. Ooh.
Michigan State 10.
Ooh,
So
in Iowa.
We got 4
in Iowa.
and Iowa.
That's 5.
Who's 2? Sorry, yeah, 5 teams.
Look at the Big Ten. Ain't Tennessee in there, but hey.
Hey, yeah, but I'm saying, you look at the SEC and it was like, oh, remember back a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Even you can say last year, last 2 years, last 3 years.
But even the last couple years,
SEC running that.
But I'll say this: the debate's been opening up the past couple years with the Big Ten being in there. People are like, hey, the Big Ten might be up there, just as good, if not better than the SEC.
And that's the same with Penn State too. Everyone's been saying the same thing, not only about that Big Ten conference, but it's Penn State time coming up. Penn State's coming up. There, it's due. They got to put, like I said last week, got to put the puzzle pieces together. They're right there. They're right there. They're right there. Now the whole conference is coming together. There you go.
Facts.
Michigan sweated out a Nebraska win, but
now Scott Frost is on the hot seat.
But
shame on them. Scott Frost is a great guy. He needs to be the host, and he needs to be the coach for Nebraska for a long time. I love Scott Frost. I have a question I need to ask you though.
Oh, I think I know where you're going. All right, go ahead.
So there was a massacre on the field on Sunday. Saquon Barkley went down.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones went down.
Mm-hmm.
We finally saw Kadarius Toney. You guys lost a really important lineman earlier in the season. I think you guys are 14 and 50 since 2017 or something crazy like that. Does David Gettleman need to get fired?
Yeah, I to answer this short and sweet before we wrap this whole shindig up, Dave Gettleman, goodbye.
Whew.
He came in 2018.
Yep.
Their record since 2017 is 19 and 50. That's
19 and 50.
Tied exactly with the New York Jets. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So we need some changes. But I will say, Kadarius Toney, the biggest savage move of the game was getting all of those catches, 189 yards, and getting kicked out for throwing a punch. I was going
to say he went Deontay Wilder on these boys.
My man. We needed some spark there, I guess, in that massacre loss. But like I said in the reaction show, 70% of the offense out. That's not what we're talking about. Gettleman has to go. There has to be some changes. I don't agree with all this. Saquon Barkley's got to go. Daniel Jones has got to go. They have the team. They have the pieces. They just need somebody better at the helm to run them.
I was going to say this. I've been reading online, and people have been saying, he can't draft or things like that. He's drafted a couple of good pieces, to be honest.
But there's also been busts that have been drafted.
Okay.
DeAndre Baker.
Yes.
Where you at, bro? First round pick, traded up to get your ass.
Yep.
Goodbye. There's been a couple of those that have happened. Eli Apple. There's another one. you're turning into another locker room cancer.
Yep.
So there have been struggles with that. The reports that are coming out as the losses start to pile up, as you get a beat down, obviously everybody knows that the offense wasn't there, and it was pretty much a game to lose when all of those guys went down.
Hey, long neck Glennon came in there and started throwing that bitch around. Don't sleep.
He didn't come in looking like Geno Smith though, and Geno Smith came in wheeling and dealing. But you look at what's next for these guys, and the reports that have been coming out is Joe Judge may be safe after the year. Probably can't say the same for Dave Gettleman, and that's the page I'm on. I want Joe Judge. I don't want Gettleman anymore. He was there for many, many years. He left to go to Carolina, and he came back.
I feel like we need a whole sweep. Just get them all out.
I don't know about that. He left in 2012 after the win.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Been there for many, many, many years. You go over to Carolina. Okay. Very successful with them. Yeah, very successful. 2015.
Saw his
Cam
holes
Newton,
there. Yeah, okay.
Saw the holes, right?
Caught lightning in a bottle. That's like saying Howie Roseman's great because he caught lightning in a bottle with the Eagles.
Okay,
but continue.
Right.
I wasn't impressed with Gettleman in Carolina, to be honest.
I think Gettleman in Carolina was obviously better than
it was. Yeah.
And I think, but I do think the Giants right now have better pieces than the Carolina team did in those years that he was there.
Holy smokes! I mean, Luke Kuechly and Josh Norman already take over your whole defense, sir.
I don't know about that.
That defense, you think that Giants defense is close to that Carolina defense?
I think they're close. They're not better. I think they're close to that defense. Come on, dude.
Oh my God.
Come on, bro.
Football team gave you 30. Broncos gave you 30. Cowboys gave you almost 40, or did they give you 40? Someone else gave you 30. The Eagles are going to give you 30.
The Eagles are not giving 30, bro.
Do you want it? So what's the bet? How many push-ups? I owe you 20, so we can double down here.
All right, we'll double down on it.
Over under 29.5 when they play the Eagles?
Yeah.
You have the over?
Yeah. I have the under. You have the over.
Done deal. Podcast, accountability. Let's get it.
Accountability. Yeah, but that's how we're going to talk about on that. Gettleman has to go. It's that simple. I can't sit here as a fan and continue to say that he needs to be there. There's basically the moral of the story is some big change has to happen. And as a fan, I don't want to see Joe Judge go. As a fan, I obviously don't want to see these players go because who else is going to go, right? So you need some front office guys to go. And I think that'll help change the culture a little bit. Like I said, I had big expectations for this team coming into this year, just with the magnitude of these depth chart on paper, and they haven't been able to execute. The defense, obviously, I talked about this many times already, but they just did not pick up from where they left off. Offensive line did not pick up where they left off.
It was a real clean slate this year.
And most of them are injured right now on that line. But besides the point, we got to adapt and react, and we're not doing that.
And retool and rebuild.
Recycle. I guess. Because, they were holding with that team, with that Dallas team. So, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it, and maybe as we look, we're in week 5, so maybe 5 more weeks from now, maybe we could see an early firing. Maybe we could see an early game. We don't know.
Who we drafting next year? I think that's what all Giants Nation is saying.
Maybe not so much me. Yeah, I didn't play. I want to play Washington again. And I want to play the Eagles.
I want to I know we need to get out of here, but I'll say this: I hate when people do that. Like their team's struggling. Like last week, I seen Eagles fans talking about, who should we draft now?
I know, I hate that.
Let the season, let it play out. Just watch.
And it's not even that. Like we're 5 weeks into the season. I don't want
anything.
I'm not quitting on my team right now.
Like the Giants last year.
Like
we literally saw what happened with the Giants last year. You guys should have been in the playoffs after starting 1 and whatever.
Yeah.
1 and 5 was it?
Yeah, 1 and 5.
I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that.
I don't either. That's why I'm like, we're 5 weeks in. Are they struggling right now? 1,000%. But I don't know. You just gotta still be a fan.
Football season's so short and sweet, bro. I just hate just putting a damper on it.
I don't even know if it's short and sweet. It just goes so fast.
It goes so. That's why I said it's short and sweet.
We're literally coming up on Halloween right now.
And I feel like you wait so long for football. I feel like you wait the longest for football and it goes away the fastest. I could be right just statistically wise because it's 16 fucking games, Manny. But it just feels
17.
17 now. I feel like you wait so long for it and it gets here and it's like, we're in week 5. We've been doing the reaction show for a month.
I know.
Holy shit.
I remember when we were first, I don't know. We
just did. We were just on Zoom 8 months ago talking about the Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah, facts. That was the first show we did together. But all right, guys, that's it for today. Jam-packed show, a bunch of wacky segments that we're very fortunate enough to get. Hopefully not in these circumstances.
Yeah.
But we have to give our 2 cents on it. Check us out on the Twitter page for updates of when this drops and all the other content that we got going on. Twitter at ADED Podcast and Instagram all the kind of good stuff. We got some good reels on there coming up, and some new pictures and thumbnails and stuff like that. Also, really cool stories that are on there as well. Different polls, different power rankings that you guys can argue with us about on there as well.
Come argue, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when we see who's posting, we see who you guys are, so we're definitely paying a little bit of a homage to you guys for answering and checking us out. TikTok, all day every day show. We're gonna be doing a little bit different content now. We kind of figured out a little bit of a niche that we want to follow in, aside from just posting clips on there. So if you want to see what other types of things we're doing on there, you won't see these on Instagram, you won't see these on Twitter. So get on the TikTok if you want to see what this is.
You might see a good rant about me talking about Miles Sanders on there soon.
Yes.
If you want to head over there.
So that's the TikTok, the All Day Everyday Show. And if you want to see the boys live, we got some Twitch live streams coming up soon.
Come fuck.
Head over to Twitch. We won some money on there. We're going to be looking to do it again with you.
Hey.
There is no it's just All Day Everyday Show. Okay. Bet Rivers, one more time, $250 match bonus. I'll there, do it. Month of October, we're flying through it, baby. Oh no!
And he hits the wrong.
No, we're gonna have to cut that.
No, it's all right. Leave it in there. It's all right. It's all right.
We're gonna have to cut that.
As we sign out of here.
I hit the wrong button.
We're good.
Really? No. I'm replaying that. No way, bro. Oh, man. Dude, that was so fire. All right, it's cutting out, guys. I don't know. Man, I really just fucked it up.
It's all right.
It's all right, guys.
Appreciate all of you watching. If you made it this far in the podcast, first of all, we fucking love you for watching this 45-minute, 50-minute podcast. So much love for you. Also, I keep looking at the analytics. We're at like 75 watching, not subscribed, 20% subscribe. You guys need to hit that subscribe if you watched it all the way through. You need to hit that like. You need to hit that notification bell to keep up with us because we're making content. We're grinding. We love all of you. Like I always say, I don't care if it's 909 of you guys are going to keep pumping this content out and doing our thing. And that is...
And if you're watching on Apple Podcasts...
Yes, sir. Leave a 5-star rating.
You've been listening to the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and the homie Manny Ruffin. I hit the right button this time. I don't know, guys. Everybody has some fun. Come hang with us. We love you guys. Peace out, baby.